Okay, today we're going to write the equation of a graph. So here's our graph over here. We have the point 0, 3 and 2, negative 1. So let's let 2, negative 1 be our first point and 0, 3 be our second point. Okay, and if you remember, the slope formula is y2 minus y1 on top. So we're going to have 3 minus negative 1 and then 0 minus 2. 3 minus negative 1 is 4, 0 minus 2 is negative 2, and then we have to simplify that, which is negative 2 over 1, or just negative 2. We also could have found the rise and the run. This actually, it goes up 4, and then it goes left negative 2, or we could think about it as going down 4 and over 2, which that's also going to reduce to negative 2. We also step 2 is we have to find the y-intercept. And the y-intercept is where the diagonal line crosses the y-axis right here, or it could just touch it. So in this one, it touches at the point 0, 3, so the y-intercept, the b value, is going to be 3. And then the third step is just to substitute in the values in for m and b in the slope-intercept equation, so the answer would be y equals negative 2x plus 3. Okay, so let's go do some. Okay, so we have this graph right here. We got step 1, find the slope. So I'm going to find any 2 points. Points is where it crosses these lines pretty good. So I could use this point right here. I could use this point right here, or I could use this point right here. I'm going to use these 2 points. So this point, if I start here, is the point right 1 up 4. So that's 1, 4. And this point right here is left to right 0 and then up 2, so that's the point 0, 2. So I'm going to use those 2 points. I'm just going to let that one be my first. Okay, so the slope formula is y2 minus y1, so I'm going to do 4 minus 2. And then it's on the denominator, the bottom, x2 minus x1, so then I'm going to do 1 minus 0. So this slope is positive 2 over 1, or just 2. We also, you could have done it like this. We could have made a triangle, and the rise is 2, and the run is 1. And if you write that as rise over run, you also get 2 over 1, or 2. So my m is 2. Find the y-intercept. Where the y-intercept is where this red line crosses the y-axis. So if we just look at this, okay, so it's where my line is crossing the y-axis right here, and the y-axis is right here. So it's crossing right here at the point 0, 2. So that means b is 2. And so to write the equation, we are going to substitute in the values. Here, we're going to put a 2 in front of the x, and that's a positive 2, so plus 2. Okay, so here's another diagonal line. Step 1, find the slope, so we got to find 2 points. So I'm going to use this as a point, and I'm going to use this as a point. I could also use this one up here, but these two, actually, that one actually does not even cross really good, so let me do that again. I got to pick a really good point, and so that one did not cross exactly. This one crosses exactly. So this point right here is 0, negative 2, because I did not go left or right any, and I went down 2. This one I'm going to go over 4 and down 3, so this is going to be the point for negative 3. Okay, so I'm just going to let this be my second point. I'm just going to move left to right this time. So I'm going to let this be x1, y1, and this be x2, y2. So on the top, I subtract negative 3. I'll have to subtract, and then I write a negative 2 here. So you have to do the minus and the negative 2. And then it's going to be 4 minus 0 in the denominator. Remember, when you subtract a negative, it changes to a positive, so that's negative 1. And 4 minus 0 is 4, and that cannot simplify. Now, I also could think about it as rise over run. So if I go left to right, it goes down 1. So down 1 is negative 1, and it goes over 4. So that's a good way to check. So that is the rise and the run. Step 2, I'm going to erase all this stuff. I need to find where that red line crosses the y-axis. And again, the y-axis is this one right here. And so it's crossing right there. And it's crossing below the x-axis. So that's going to be a -2. So I insert the slope in front of the x value. And that's a -2. So I'm going to write -2. Now on this one, we have a horizontal line. If you remember on a horizontal line, the slope is 0. So we don't even have to find anything right here. So the slope is 0. Now the y-intercept is where that line crosses, and it crosses right there at the point 0, 5. And so the y-intercept is going to be 5. So there's two ways to write this. You could either write 0x plus 5, or because that has a 0 in front of it, you could just write y equals 5. So if you see y equals just a number, that means it's going to be a slope of 0 and a horizontal line. In our last case here, we have a vertical line, and if you remember that is undefined. Okay, so because it's undefined, it's never going to have a y-intercept because this line right here never crosses that axis, okay? It's never going to cross it. So there is no y-intercept. So this one, I can't put y equals anything because it doesn't cross the y-axis. So on a vertical line, you're going to write x equals, and then you're going to write where it goes through, and it goes through -3 on the x-axis.